Hello, and finally, welcome to Man the Guns. It's here, and I've got my hands on it, which apparently was a bit of a problem. Because I own the... So Paradox did graciously give me early access to Man the Guns. However, I own the luxury edition of Hearts of Iron. Because I bought it at the time, and I was not in the affiliate program with Paradox yet. Which ended up... You know, they're giving away a couple of the DLCs for free. Like, you know, you own like a season pass kind of thing, right? And I own that. So Steam was like, well, let's add in all those DLC already to your account. So when I was trying to activate the early access build, it basically said like, hey, you already own this product. But not in the same way, which gives you early access. So I actually had to wait, just like all of you, to play this. And it's finally here, and I know I'm a little bit late, but I had to explore it a little bit myself. Didn't have the chance. We're gonna play as the USA. We're gonna play a more historical USA, because I have been doing the Civil War thing, and I don't recommend doing it because it's really hard. And with really hard, I mean it's just not fun how difficult it is, to be honest. But hey. Anyway, yeah, we are the good old US of A, with one remaining cavalry division, which, yeah, don't care. Actually, I'm probably not gonna use the National Guard, because I don't like the setup that they have, because it's just the same as this guy, it just has more infantry in it, which is not the division size that we'd like to take. So we're gonna turn everything into regular divisions. Infantry divisions, whoop. Right, I'm just gonna do a little bit of a standard, like, defensive setup. I'm gonna change this around a little bit. So you want it, 9, and like 3 more, 1, 2, 3.
Orders.
You're 24, so this guy is gonna be like our colonial defensive division type thing. So like the Panama Canal, Pearl Harbor, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm actually gonna stick around and defend all my little islands. You are also on that thing. Let's see, we do also own this. And I think that's basically all that we need to own. And you're gonna do your East Coast bits as well as Alaska. Yeah, and this bit up here. Good. You know what? Let's not put you on this duty. I'll put the other guys. You're on island duty. You're on mainland defense duty. There we go. Right, so yeah, basically let's just set up, and I'll go into more of the changes that are added to the game a little bit later. I don't want to do this, I want to do that. You're going to add it to these guys. That went wrong, as usual. I don't know why it does, but right, standard setup for the USA so far. And I'll go into some of the changes later. I hope you guys get your hands on it as well, and just exploring and having a lot of fun, because I'm definitely having a lot of fun. Now, I do want to keep naval superiority around the world, even though the UK doesn't really like it when I do this, so fuck them, I guess. And we don't have the strongest... What can I do? We don't have the strongest economy right now, but it'll have to do. And I want 2 of these, not here, because reasons. So yeah, right. We're gonna finish all these ships, and after that, we're gonna take a look at. You might have noticed a little bit of a difference there. I'm gonna take a look at a bit of the Navy later, because I want to finish these ships. There's actually a very fun, between quotation marks, mechanic that's currently into play with navies and likes. So the production bit of the US is completely not up to snuff. So we have to do a little bit of work here. I want some regular fighters with some regular close air support. And I wanna... Is the entire priority thing just gone? That's a little bit annoying. It has been probably for ages, but I've never really been using it that much. And I prefer to keep my ships always below the rest of it, so that's kind of something that's gonna stick. M1 Garons go at the bottom, because it's basically like, hey, if we have nothing else to do, we'll produce this stuff. We don't have any native rubber production, so we import from the Dutch. Well, the East Indies in this case. We have some decisions. Yes, so this is one actually from the things that is new, which is the entire state Congress support thing. This is not as difficult as it may look initially. In my experience, I tend to hover pretty much almost about full support. So, So we can get some statehood here. I believe this changes like Puerto Rico. Since now it's not a full state, I believe. Because it's a non-core state. This will add it into as a non-core state. Same you can do for Hawaii. And I believe for another one... Alaska, right. Alaska is not considered a core state. But, you know, Alaska and Hawaii don't have that much pop. But Puerto Rico has 1.4 million people that will be available for service after that. And welcome to the new focus tree. I'll go through it a little bit. So you have your War Department bit here, which has your Navy, your Air Force, your Army. Easy enough. This is your war plan system. This is basically every time you unlock a war plan, it's gonna give you a bonus against that nation for a couple of days, or how about 180, I believe. So this is not war goals or anything like that. This is basically giving you a bonus when you're fighting them. Then you have the political tree here, which is basically divided into let's say 2.5 bits. It's not really 3 in my experience. So you have your communist-esque bit here, which is not entirely just communism, but a lot of this is like, as you notice here, like this will move you close to civil war. This is also going to lead you towards communism, I believe. Then you have, I don't know actually for sure if this leads to communism. There are some bits here that actually give some of the communistic, yeah, you see, Communist Party becomes a ruling party, population, blah, 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 blah. So you need some of the communist bits here. This will lead to civil war. With the communist revolutionary crap. So there is some stuff here. You can get some alliance shit going. Then right here you have more your sticking with what we have right now. This is basically sticking with also with the government we have right now. So there's multiple ways of fixing your economy. This would lead towards, you know, communism. Sort of. Doesn't have to. Only when you go deeper in the tree. And mind you, this is unlocked. It's not like, hey, you are stuck there. So you, then you've got your, basically your, are we going to be interventionist or going to stay neutral? You got some decisions there. This is what we know from before. This is kind of different from what we used to. So this is more like, we're going to support the war, but we're not going to fight it for you. This is the other one. It's basically like, yeah, we'll support you, but we'll also fight you. Not full blown yet, right? Also, some of these require certain support in the house. You just cannot push through every single thing. However, this is not as difficult as I said it, as you think. Then you've got your fascist bit here, which also has the move you close to a civil war. Now, I have tried this one, especially with, I want to try to do Honor the Confederacy. This is really difficult because even I've tried a couple of times, even with a couple of cheaty attempts, to see what kind of a difference it makes. Even if you're 100% fascist, your country will resist you when you are starting to go down this path in the Civil War. Which surprised me quite a bit, actually. So, yeah, that's basically our focus tree. I'm gonna stick with it for now with the classic. We're just gonna stay democracy. We're gonna play a fairly classic game because I'm not really comfortable with the others for now because I kind of suck at it. And I want to basically explore a little bit more on a leisure way the new features that the game brings us. So, yeah, don't need those, and I don't need those. Yeah, I could use them for the base of everything else, but whatever. We have the rubber imported. Yeah, I think that means we can go to speed 5 and go. Have some fun. So, you can see here the fuel. We are the USA, we have a lot of fuel income. This is basically the amount of fuel you've got stockpiled. It limits out at a certain... you cannot unlimitedly stockpile fuel. If you want to stockpile more fuel, build these. These also increase the amount of fuel that will be... it does a little bit more than just... just increases our fuel capacity. But I think later on it also does some other crap. This is maybe one of the events that's specifically for the US. Random events might cause senators to go one way or another. You can use your lobbying efforts if you generate enough political power a day. You actually, depending if you pause, you can actually still take this. And you need to have a little bit more political power than you have. But, you know, as the USA, you just don't generate any political power. This will basically coerce the government, the Senate, and the House towards your... in your favor, which is a good thing. But we're the USA, so we're gonna start off with basically we wanna get our military up and running, and oh right, hey, yeah, we still got Navy. Haha, there's a lot of new things. Let's just not do Navy yet, because I don't know, haha, big D's. If you haven't seen it yet, it's really awesome. It's really awesome. So let's just go for Air Force first, because there's a couple of features in the Air Force as well that are actually new as well. It's not a lot that is new in here, but there is some shit that's new. You might notice it. It's this icon here. Pilot exercise. Yes, you can now train your pilots, which they also now have experience. So let's just get some air wings. I don't care for medium bombers right now. So do this. We're gonna get you to 400. You're in Hawaii. You can actually go. Get you at close to 400. Now, I know this is not gonna do well, and we're gonna split them a little bit around, and I'm gonna give some of these fighter groups their tasks as usual. So nothing really much has changed here, and I'm still gonna stick with groups of 100. Because you have more aces. It's just a better thing to do. So yeah, we've got that going. And there's some Navy crap that needs to be done. Now Navy, I'm still not comfortable with Navy. I've played it for several hours, and I've been playing it mostly as the USA because it has a large naval base and gives you some room to work with. I am not comfortable with them yet, and there's one really big thing that I would love, or two things actually I would love to enter, but I will go into that a little bit later. So first things first, you've got your navies, right? And well, you have a capital ship now, but navies just function a lot more different than they did before. So I'm gonna start for now with redistributing the navy, and I have an idea of what I want to do. There's also another thing that I want to do, and that is go into ship designing. We are actually limited right now in the size of our ships because of the treaty we made with the UK and some more. It's the Treaty of London, it's called. Basically, it was trying to prevent that everybody was like going in an arms race for bigger ships. Because it was expensive, it was crappy for the economy, but you know, you had to have the biggest fucking ship. So we basically made, all of us made together, make the deals like, okay, ships are not allowed to be, of this classification, be bigger as this. So, you know, prevent an arms race that way. But just upgunning itself. So a lot of the ships that we have are currently unusable. These will unlock, sort of, in later stages of the game when these, things start going. First things first, I do want to set convoy up for 2, but I want to go into this because I want another class of destroyer. So we have 2 classes of destroyer. This is the hull type, which basically says it's an empty version. I want to keep this in, so I'm going to duplicate it away, and I call these destroyer hull patrol. And I'll call it just destroy your type class, because then I know which one it is, and I'll give them the scouting thing. Actual, no, this is fine, I think. Oh, I want to check something. See, like I said, I'm not really 100% comfortable in this yet. You don't have this, do you? No, you don't. Right. But this is a light cruiser. Early cruisers, light cruisers. And there's just a... Wait, so you're no longer relevant, early cruiser hull? Because we have cruiser hulls. And then we've got the heavy ships, which are heavy cruisers, I believe. No, these are... Oh god, they changed the classifications up and I'm not entirely sure. So we have destroyers, we've got cruisers. They're no longer heavy cruisers. Okay, okay. Makes sense, because there is just cruiser. Fine. There's something specific that I'm looking for right now. That's why I'm basically fumbling around a little bit. So they don't exist on cruisers, apparently. They do. They do. They're modern cruiser hulls. So this is the ship I was partially looking for. Right. There's 2 types of ships I want to design here. So I'm gonna duplicate this one. We'll call it a no longer an early destroyer hull, but destroyer recon or patrol. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but yeah, just do anti-submarine warfare. I think that still works because some torpedo launch, because they need to be combat capable, right? We'll just do light batteries, anti-air. We'll put in a fire control system and a sonar, because destroyers always have a sonar system. Get a torpedo launchers in here. I cannot save because I don't have enough experience, right? But this is one of the things that I want to do, and I wish I would save them, but I can't, which is a little bit annoying. Anyway, we'll work on that later. First things first, I'm gonna redesign some of the Navy. Because you really want to start splitting up, because the tasks of the Navy have also changed. So there's a lot of work that has to go into it to basically get you in the same, for me, on the same comfort level of using it. Because Navy used to be really under thought process. Okay, so we've got to continue the New Deal. We can go for Neutrality Act immediately, but I want to stick with limited intervention. And I'm not gonna do it this way because why would I? I don't want to go communist. And I want, if possible, start fixing our economy as fast as I can. Plus, there's a research slot in here and some rubber possibilities. So let's go this way. Let's merge this all in. Move these guys in the fucking reserve. This is a really fun new mechanic in my honest opinion. Alright, merge them in. This is a little bit, okay, there we go. Right, now we technically no longer have a navy. This is a reserve navy. These guys don't do anything. Sorta. So I want to design some new new naval setups. So what I'm gonna do, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these guys. Then let's see. I want crap. Can I do this differently? Yes, I can if I remember how. Create a new task force. Yes, there we go. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. Well, that will be fixed. I want to get 2 of the carriers in there. 2 carriers per task force. Then I want about 30 destroyers in there. These are battle destroyers, so these are protection class destroyers. And about 15 light cruisers. These are early cruiser hulls, and these are regular cruiser hulls. What's the difference between these two? These are CLs, light cruisers, and these are heavy cruisers. I have to take a look at that. I don't like heavy cruisers, personally, because I think they're redundant when you got battleships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't mind not have 15 of these, so 12. Need to build a couple more, and I'll get rid of the destroyers. So this is basically what one fleet's going to look like. Plus, I'm going to do something else later as well. Right, so you want these guys are destroyers. I actually need to tell them how this looks like. This is a fun mechanic. This is not exactly how I would like it yet, but I think it gets towards the point where it works as intended. So you basically say like, hey, I want 15, for this case, 15 ships of these types. You say basically I want light cruisers which have the shield designation. I want 5 battleships in here that have the this thingy. For some reason the carriers are not entirely sure what they are. And I want 2 carriers with, you know, aircraft on it. And then I can save the template as a naval task force. I call them that way because that works for me now. Right. This is basically this thing set up. This will start pulling out of the this is now a proper navy, so this one can actually go back into the reserve. There we go. This will start pulling ships from the reserve pool to keep it supplied. I prefer low repair priority. So this is basically a naval group. However, this one is for me, is a task force that is used to hit the enemy. It's not a, because there's now different missions. You get your patrol, basically it patrols the selected region. As the US, it doesn't really matter, but battleships cost a lot of fuel, right? So you actually don't want them out there all the time just looking for enemies. You kind of want them in port. For that you have Strike Force, which is this thing is. Strike Force will, like it says in the description, order the task force to wait at the closest naval base until an enemy force is spotted. Once the enemy is spotted, Strike Force will move to that location and will attack the enemy forces. So it's basically going to sit passively. For example, like we can just patrol the regions around Hawaii, and when a Japanese naval force engages, they get spotted by some of our patrol fleets. This thing will move in and start, you know, kicking the living crap out of them. That's basically the idea. Long story short, I set up the task force. Now, what I would have loved that would be possible if I could just click on reserves, create a new task force, and just select one of the task force that the thing that I just created. That would have been great. It wouldn't work if I do this, because it will just put this on the reserve squadron, which is completely bullshit. So what I tend to do is just this, select half these, and create a new task force from those guys, and tell both of them, like, hey, you're gonna be in naval task force, okay? And okay, and we don't have the ships for that, I know that. But let's move these guys all in this one, so these guys are gonna be in naval task force for now. Right, that's 1. 2, I want a couple of destroyer task forces, so select a destroyer. We're gonna do the same thing. Destroyers are now classified with skulls for us, and I want the group, so that's size 20. There we go. And we're gonna save it as submarines safe. Right, and now I can just I know I have a couple of submarines. This would be up for 80, so that's 4 task groups. 1, 2, 3, there we go. And I can just all tell them to become submarines. And once I unpause, they will be pulling from the reserves that we've got set up here. And that's it. Now the heavy cruisers, like I said, I don't really mind these, but I'm not really going to use them. So this is going to be my initial patrol group until I've got the setup that I want, basically. Right, that's the first thing out of the way. Now I want to start off with a couple. Let's see. I do not have a regular. This is useful early on, sort of, but not really right now. Captain of Industry. Right, you need me to go for America first, which is not... Okay, so let's go for a political power gain, because that is pretty bad in our case. And I think that will give us a little bit more wiggle room. Also, let's start getting some lobbying effort, because we're losing some of the house. Okay, so I basically got my navy set up now. And they should start pulling from the thing. Okay, so let's just get my submarines in a single group, because otherwise I will just go nuts. Let's do this the right way. There we go. And so a single, by the way, Iron Side experience factor. So these guys are not also proper generals, right? They've got upgrades and everything like that. And you will be led by this guy. So, there's one type of carrier in there. That's fine, right? This carrier is somehow a little bit odd, I believe. I don't know what it is. It's not properly classified for some reason. It's a little bit weird. I don't think the system is working 100% as intended yet. But let's unpause. I don't think they're gonna pull from reserve until I give them some orders. No, you pulled fine. You guys just did not. For some reason. That's a little bit odd. Got some submarines left. So I can upgrade these as well. Tell them like, hey, I want you to go for the modern versions, because there might be some older versions that, and that will be done, I believe. this is also a fun feature. Basically, you need to have naval bases to repair. So, yeah. And these guys just come into a list as stuff that needs to get done. So it's easy enough. Really surprised why you are not pulling from things, but we're gonna set you into training. You as well, because I want to start gaining some naval experience. Why are you not pulling from... the automatic reinforcement list? Did I not give you... oh, did I not do this? Okay. That might be it. Submarines. Right. I did not save it correctly, apparently. So if I go submarines, it will do it now proper. Okay, good. Missed a thing there, I guess. All right, so now it will resupply. There we go. That's what confused me initially as well. I think one of them is not correct. Oh no, you got 12. So we just must have got some destroyers left around. Cool. What do you have here? Right, this is the second London Naval Conference. Now we could have chickened out earlier. But yeah, don't really see that as a thing yet. So yeah, this is basically what we are at. And I've got a specific I want to change a little bit your defense to just the ports. There we go. Right. Doesn't really matter, but to be honest, same goes for you. You just need to stick on the ports. There we go. See, now we got some more support. I think that was because of our lobbying efforts, and I'm gonna keep doing this at all times because I need to get the political parties behind me, so I can start really improving the country and fixing some of the inherent problems that we're currently having, like having no military economy, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna start generating a ass ton of naval experience. It's really great because it's gonna speed up. It's gonna speed up the naval research because I want to become a naval superpower at some point. Right now I've got the Navy set up fairly basic, but I will eventually start doing a little bit more complicated crap. So yeah, gonna research slot up. Oh. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this expansion so far. It's the Navy bit feels really weird to me, but I think it's a good thing. I think it's definitely a good thing. Let's see. None of this is really gonna help. Yeah, this might help a little bit in getting our economy a little bit up and running earlier. We're not gonna go for warfare yet. However, I want to get a lot of naval ship done fast. Range is just really good, in my opinion. I used to go for this quite fervently. But if we want to become a naval superpower, I think range might be more important. And our carriers should never get into... oh, that's something I need to fix as well. Our carriers are off. They're definitely not correct. So that's a little bit easier now because I can just select a navy and look at their air wings. The reason why I'm saying it, I know for a fact that they've got a couple of these guys going on. And I don't want 35. And then I want 30... 25. There we go. Can I count? See, that's the question that keeps me awake at night as well. Can I count? There we go. So that will be reinforced. I don't want... I think... so, it's not entirely useless anymore, because you can set your navies to... on naval invasion support, and I believe that will also cause the aircraft to support if possible. So it's not as bad as it used to be, where you would never put that on your ships ever. I'm not gonna go for base strike because we're not gonna go carrier heavy. We're gonna go mostly fleet and being, and this is a feature I like. Like, experience becomes a lot more useful, and it just tags a little bit back into the a HoI4 research system where field experience would count toward. If you would use a lot of tanks, your guys would get better at researching tank improvements, which makes sense, right? You had two things that would determine your research speed in HoI4, which was your country's basically stats, like its affinity with the field of research anyway. So like Germany had really good tank research for one. I can't remember all of that, but I think US had a bigger advantage on nuclear research. But also using that, you could be counteracted by you just using tanks. Or I don't think for nuclear it would work, but for using tanks, you would just get better at researching things for tanks. Which makes sense. Oh, this is also really cool. Senior senator from South Dakota approached the government and offered for support. His state suffers from critical underinvestment, and the government instated an economic stimulus program would certainly make him reconsider his stance on certain proposed government policies. Basically, he's asking us, yo, do shit for me, I'll do shit for me. You know, rub my back, I rub yours. Senator sits on several important committees, and he's quite famous for being able to cut deals, making his vote worth several more in both houses. So he wants us to invest in his economy. Now, that doesn't show up yet, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Invest in the economy of South Dakota. So within a year, he wants a civilian factory to be built there. Alright, so South Dakota, I believe that's over here. Yeah. It actually shows up now. I also like this one because it shows me like, hey, there's things here. So I just need to build a civilian factory there. So I'll go to civilian factory, one going in. Gets to the top of the list. But look, I'm gonna do it like this because I kind of want to. Well, it's important to get some army shit going. I don't need a lot of these. I do need more of these. I also need more of you, and I definitely need more of you as well before I get more guns. But I also need more guns. We need everything basically. So let's do a little bit of. Yeah, how we are. We're at 45. We get minus. Now let's just start with small because we actually get some gains done. Cool, right. And we have some army experience, so I can actually start designing some new ships. Woo. What I wanted to do was the early destroyer hull, like we said before. We're gonna get some. Now here I'm thinking I might use these guys because they're not going to be the big hitters, right? I might be able to set up these guys for mine warfare as well. So get some mine sweeping going, get some mine laying rails, so they're also anti-mining systems. Give them some light batteries, some basic anti-air, some fire control systems, because, you know, it's useful to hit the enemy. Get some sonar, get some torpedoes, and get a big-ass engine, right? And then we'll call these the destroyer mine / patrol. So these... no, I'm actually not gonna do it this way. I want these to be patrol guys. And that's it. So they're basically gonna be suited for, you know... Yeah, they're gonna be patrolling guys. So they're gonna be like scouting. So not mine patrol. We're gonna make a separate destroyer for that one. So we'll save that. Right, we're gonna duplicate it. And then we're gonna... Because I don't want any other destroyers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I should have duplicated before because it just overwrites the whole, which is a little bit annoying. I want destroyer mines just because it's gonna do both, and I can get more differentiation between mine laying and mine sweeping. I think this guy can do both. I'm fine with that, and we're gonna save that. Now you can also, you know, historical mine layers is what the name for that. So, and then I need to overwrite the thing, of course, update it. So now we've got 3 types of destroyers we can produce. We've got our Farragut class, we've got a patrol destroyers, and we've got a mine destroyers. Now I want to get a couple of these, not a lot. And I can put them on auto, which means they get deployed in the thing here. Remember that we're asking for the type destroyer we're asking for these fleets is this specific version. So these guys will never show up in there. And I'm going to get this guy in there. And I need a couple more of these because they're going to be our patrol squads, right? And I'm going to need some Farragut class destroyers. Not a lot right now. So this thing is actually going to go to the bottom. And actually, I will not do this right now yet. Right, that's one. And then there is the cruiser hull that I wanted. But I actually wanted a heavy cruiser hull, which is a little bit annoying to me. So... yeah, so you are... Alright, so we're gonna duplicate this. And aircraft facility, type 2 catapult. We're gonna just change this up a little bit. Because I want these things to mostly be a bit faster compared to anything else. And I don't need as heavy firepower. So I want to take a look at the max speed. Does it affect if I... Yes, yes. I want these to be as fast as possible. Now, how fast is this destroyer I made? It has a 38, so I want to match that actually. So I'm going to go for some light battery here. Let's go for some more light battery. Light battery 2 works because it doesn't change the speed. And we're going to shift you over to another arc. Does this stack? Yes, it does. So we're going to 37 right now. And I think I need to lower the armor a little bit. 38.7. I think we're now very much on par. 38.2. So we're actually slightly faster now with these historical light cruisers. Number 4. These will be not cruiser HoI4. These will be LC. Or is it CL? It's CL, Cruiser Light Patrol. Right? Save that. So now I have the patrol thing set up. Now I don't know if this is actually a good thing or not, but this thing is going to be produced because it's too heavy. So I'm going to got a couple of these guys because we actually want those. And I like how it's designated between a protection, escort, screen ship, and actually a gunboat. Now I need more of these, and I need a couple of these. For now, we'll need a little bit more. So that's that. I need a couple more carriers. Let's get those produced. I will put these at the top because these have slightly more priority for me. Compared to anything else. I'm gonna do destroy. Yep. Right. And I cannot produce any battleships because of the restrictions that currently exist. It is what it is. I want to keep as much political power points as I can. So I'm going to disable most of this because I just stop bugging me about it. It's basically the short. Let's think about it. There we go. Right. I'm actually going to end the episode here. Ooh, my throat just dried up immediately. I want to thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I do. Bye-bye.